morning, dear hearts. Back again. Here we are. Lesson 143 in our review, and of course, please subscribe. So, my central thought for guiding this entire review is my mind holds only what I think with God, because that's the true part, the real part of my mind. The other part of my mind is just an illusion. It holds on to nothing, nor should it. The two lessons that we are reviewing today: in quiet, I receive God's word today, and all that I give is given to myself. Now, again, we're going to spend a brief quiet time together. We're going to be quiet in this review session. We're going to go into that space for 5 minutes at least in the morning and the evening, where we can gather ourself, big S, and release everything else, so that we can come into communion with our Father, joining in union with oneness with our Father, our celestial parent. So the lessons that I used to expand these lessons when we first had them: in quiet, I received God's word today. The first one was lesson 49, that God's voice speaks to me all through the day. All through the day, I can hear the voice of my Father. I just need to be quiet enough in order to hear his voice and to want to actually listen for it. I've likened this in the past to when we are in a restaurant, and it's a busy restaurant, popular restaurant, and there's a lot of noise around us. And so even though I'm sitting with my friends, and especially if I'm sitting with a lot of my friends and it's a longish kind of table, it's impossible for me to hear the voice of what my friend is saying, because there's so much noise that I'm taking in place of my friend's voice. God is our friend, with a big F, friend. We want to hear his voice, but it is only in quiet that I am able to actually hear his voice. And without entering into that quiet center of my mind, which is what the introduction of this review talks about, going into that space where peace dwells, where we can hear easily, where the ego is no longer there, and there's no frightening and scary things that are going on, where I can receive comfort in this center of my being in this brief quiet time. When I go into that space, then indeed I can receive God's word today and every day. But I must be quiet, and I must be willing to hear the voice for God. The second lesson that we are reviewing is: all that I give is giving to myself. My mind holds only what I think with God. I compared this, or linked this, back to lessons 18 and 19 in our first 50, that I'm not alone at experiencing the effects of my seeing or the effects of my thoughts. All that I give is given to myself, and whatever I give to myself, there will be that ripple effect, that pebble in the pond. Thank you for those who said, no, don't stop saying it. That pebble in the pond that will go out. So whatever the effects of my seeing or my thinking are, off they go to touch other lives, other minds, other beautiful parts of the sonship. The only thing that I truly want to give and that I truly want to receive is forgiveness. All that I give is given to myself. When I give myself forgiveness, because remember, it is always us. We always forgive ourselves first. That's really the only one we're ever really forgiving. When I receive that gift, I have opened up the way for me to receive all of God's gifts. Because as long as I have not forgiven, and this review is also about true forgiveness, as the introduction told us, when I have given myself true forgiveness and cleared the way and released all of the grievances and the anger and the judgments that I've been holding on to, then that is the gift I give me that allows me to in turn share that gift with everyone else. And indeed, my mind will hold only what I think with God, because God has no thoughts of judgments and grievances against his most holy children. So I give myself the gift of forgiveness. All that I give is given to myself, and the rest will be provided for me, because the rest is waiting for me to acknowledge that it is there. And in quiet, I will receive God's word today telling me, here are your gifts. You are loved more than you can ever comprehend. My mind holds only what I think with God. That's it for today. I hope this helped. Please like, please share, please subscribe. Please spend some quiet time listening for God's word today. You will hear. Namaste.